Historian Carol Reardon and Colonel Tom Vossler have been giving tours of Gettysburg battlefield for many years, and recently co-authored a field guide to Gettysburg. American History TV joined them to learn the story of the three-day battle through a selection of their favorite monuments.
We're standing in Herbst Woods, a woodlot at the time of the battle. After the cavalry fight that started the battle, Union infantry came to replace General Buford's cavalrymen, and the fighting was on. Here in these woodlots, some of the toughest fighting of July 1st took place. The monument behind me is the monument to the 24th Michigan Infantry. If you ask any Civil War soldier what his military home was, what unit he belonged to, he likely would have responded with his regiment. Regiments were raised locally throughout both the North and the South. Within a regiment of 10 companies, you were likely to find sets of brothers, fathers and sons, high school friends, business associates, members of a church congregation, people who worked together. There were tight bonds within regiments. That was one of the reasons why so many regiments after the war was over would form regimental associations. And in the 1880s, they would begin to write their memoirs, write their military histories, write autobiographies of their experiences, dedicate monuments to their services. Sometimes their home states would help them a little bit, but many times it was really left up to the veterans themselves to raise the funds and design the monuments that they wanted to put on this ground. The 24th Michigan Infantry was raised in Detroit and Wayne County, Michigan, in the late summer of 1862. They came in answer to Abraham Lincoln's call that summer for 300,000 more recruits for the Union cause. Gettysburg was not their first battle, but it certainly was their first really big battle. They'd been tested at Fredericksburg and a little bit at Chancellorsville, but they had no idea what would be waiting for them here in these woods. The 24th Michigan belonged to a larger organization that had become famous throughout the Army as the Iron Brigade. It was made up of 5 Midwestern regiments, 3 from Wisconsin, 1 from Indiana, and the 24th Michigan. They had a reputation for being pretty hard fighters, and they could be identified from almost the rest of the Union Army entirely by their very distinctive headgear. While most other Union soldiers wore a slouch hat or wore the French-inspired kepi, these men wore the Hardee hat, the official formal headgear of the regular United States Army. It was black. It had a high crown. Usually one side of it was pinned up with a very beautiful gold, usually eagle pin. Some even put feathers in the hat. It was a very distinctive kind of a headgear, and everybody who saw that headgear knew that this, in fact, was the Iron Brigade. According to some stories, even the Confederates knew it. When the Confederates first attacked here, it was said, they thought that only cavalry or local militia was up here. But as soon as they saw the black hats on the infantrymen they opposed, one is supposed to have said, that's not militia, that's the Army of the Potomac. The fight was really on here. The Iron Brigade, over the course of this day, is going to lose over 2/3 of its command. And the 24th Michigan is going to suffer horrendously in the process. The 24th Michigan brought 496 men onto the field. 363 of them will remain here as casualties. In 1889, on Michigan Day at Gettysburg, over 115 survivors of the 24th Michigan who were wounded or captured here returned to this spot for the dedication of their monument. The major of the unit was the speaker on that dedication day, and as he looked out over the assembled veterans, he grew a little quiet, and then he said this: "Volumes have been written with the Battle of Gettysburg as sole and only topic, but the whole story has not been told. Much of the planning and more of the doing has been omitted. The living may have given their version of what they did and of what they witnessed here, but oh, if the dead lips could be unsealed, what truer and larger testimony might be spread upon the pages of history." Almost 100 men of the 24th Michigan fell on these fields or died of their wounds shortly thereafter.